take damage, but by default that's off. That's sort of like the default way to play the game, and everyone can take damage all the time. Um, and having invulnerable companions on makes the game substantially easier, um, because inactive companions will still attack. Um, so, like, they're invincible and they can still do damage to stuff, and it's just it's a really good difficulty setting in my opinion, but it is not how I am how I have the run set. Oof. Taking a lot of damage on the start. So yeah. As far as I know, only one other person has speedrun this game, and they only did one run of it. And it's a lot slower than mine. Oh, Judah. But like the very first run that I did was also a lot slower, so it was fast. Their one run was faster than my first run. So that's the that's the deal. It's a lot slower than world record, but okay, so this is your like tutorial to how siblings work. So this is Adara. She can hover and she can also fire little like magic bullets. But she can't double jump on her own. She can only double jump when she's mimicking her siblings. And she doesn't do nearly as much damage as her siblings do. So that's the deal with her. And so we don't like this is a dream sequence, so none of this is really happening. This is the tutorial for yeah, these children are so cute. The Cyber Shadow Struggle Bus. Yeah. I know how that be. I know how that is. So we wake up from our dream in this village, and this woman tells us about the camp that we're in, Ravens Road Camp, and gives us some food. If you try to talk to her before you get at least one life point back from your food, she'll just be like, "You're unhealthy. You need to eat food." So we actually have to eat the food. All right. Thanks for stopping by, Chris. Have a great night. We're going to save here because saving saves us a guard lecturing us later. Oh, no worries at all. No worries. It got sorted out very quickly. I clicked on your name and I knew who you were. So so that guy Toros that we just talked to tells us that all the scouts are out, right now doing stuff, and he needs somebody to find him some rope. So we're going to be the people to find him some rope. So you can swim, you have a little oxygen meter, and if it runs out, you start taking damage pretty rapidly. Greek can swim, Adara can swim really well, and Radel can't swim at all. So when we eventually get him, he like takes damage anytime he falls into water. I'm going to be picking up a lot of healing items for safety's sake. But presumably there is a version of this run that does not need nearly as many healing items as I get. This little dodge roll both makes you invincible and makes you move faster, so it's like the best of both worlds. Just go a little faster through that dude. Oop. Boink. The mushrooms. I love the like little springy mushroom things and the little sound that they make. It's pretty fun, in my opinion, personally. So getting the rope doesn't actually take that long. It's not like especially hard. And then we basically just have to make our way back to town. To get our next quest. It's actually possible at this point to like go without completing this quest. Just like go find your sister, which opens up some areas of the game, but you can't get to the place where Radel is without going through these quests. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do. So we're basically... Oh, I forgot to split. That's... It would be good if I had actually split. That's... That's going to mess things up. So this forest area is the first place that we're going to find, aside from town, that we're going to find a fast travel point. Oh, good. If that guy dodges away like that, then we can actually get through the gate without fighting him, which is really nice. That's actually a big help. He did us a real solid there. Because stopping to fight him is unfortunately kind of slow. And yeah, so there's our fast travel point. We're going to use that later. So I went a little bit out of my way to go ahead and get that so that later we could come back to that fast travel point. Whoop. Go ahead and take a couple quick bites to eat so that we keep ourselves topped up to full, especially because we've got a decent number of healing items right now. We only have 4 inventory slots overall, and we have stuff in 3 of them. So, oh no, I botched that. The entrance to this, you want to like jump to the cutscene trigger, so that you can kill that first scout as it spawns. Ooh, that was good RNG. Ooh, nice. That guy ran. Um, a way that I wanted him to run. Really? Can you spawn somewhere useful for me? This fight is unfortunately very RNG. I'm out of arrows. Really? There we go. All right. That was actually like not bad. We're actually on a pretty good pace here. But basically those things like run away from you and then teleport when they run into a wall. And there's no way to like knock them out of their teleport, except by killing them. So that makes that fight really just like very, very dependent on where they decide to teleport to, because it's random where their like destination is. Bah, jeez. And like how long, like which direction they run in, which determines how long they'll be running for, is just all kind of random. Oops. Whoa, that was not cool, game. All right, thank you. This needs to be like, there. That was a pretty slow setup. But, all right, there we go. All right, so we've got lots of light puzzles here, and for the most part, we're not going to do them. Like those first two, we absolutely have to, but everything else we're pretty much just gonna skip. So there's supposed to be another one of those like light beam puzzles there. We're just gonna skip that. Again, we're gonna try to jump the cutscene trigger there so that we move a little bit faster here. And hey, now we actually have our sister. Yay! To the left of the area that we're in is actually the exit from these ruins. We like ran through a little tunnel earlier, or like we climbed through a little tunnel earlier, and only Greek is small enough to climb through tunnels. Adara's a little bit too big, and Radel is way too big. So we have to get 3 jars of this magic liquid here, and only 2 jars worth of it are accessible to Greek without his sister. But in order to get out of the ruins, we actually have to fight another boss, which is a thing that we're going to do in the not too distant future. And on the other side of the boss on our way out is two locations for magic jars to be filled. So that's what we're going to do. I saved before we got up here because I am about to basically just tank my way through these vines maybe, and if I don't do it right, I'm gonna okay, there we go. Did it right. We're definitely going to save here. You are going to there, and please break the thing, and you are going to eat 2 of those, and that is going to all right. And now it's time for boss fight number 2. So this is a Warlock. He kind of like dashes around the arena. Sometimes he'll throw fireballs at us. Sometimes he'll spawn a monster. And the important thing is basically just to keep everyone stacked so that we can stack damage on him as much as possible. And then he's going to do this like meteor call thing, and we're basically just going to try and wail on him to death before the meteor call thing happens. That was successful. Stacking up for damage in boss fights is really, really super important. It's also important for everybody to be stacked up so that your movement doesn't, like, you don't need to account for several different positions of movement during the fight. Like, who wants to do that. All right, so there's our second jar of magic liquid. Here is the item that we need to actually get out of the ruins. That was why we needed to fight that boss. We couldn't just come in through this way because this is a one-way gate. And then this was like right by where we started, so we could have actually gotten this before we picked up Adara. But it wouldn't have helped us since we were going to come back that way anyway, because we needed to go through and pick up the crest anyway, regardless. So now we're basically just going to do the same light puzzle skip here. Okay, that was nonsense. These scouts are the worst. They're the worst enemy in this game, in my opinion. And now we can just kind of dance our way out of here. Just to the left of here is going to be an exit that is going to take us out of these ruins and back to Valora Waterfalls. And so now we start to get a little more intricate sibling puzzles. Starting in this area, there are these little seesaw things. Please don't do that. So yeah, at this point, right, we can like one sibling has to catapult up so that they can lower a ladder for the other sibling, or like otherwise like do some set of puzzles by themselves and get back. Sometimes it matters which sibling you do this with. Sometimes it doesn't. Like this, it doesn't matter whether you take Greek or Adara. I take Greek because he moves faster. But from like game completion perspective, it does not matter. I stopped to kill that scout because he can teleport somewhere and like hit me with an arrow, and that gets very annoying. I also don't really want to have to deal with additional health management. So, yeah. This is the like most annoying little bit of dialogue in the game because this thing, you need to choose the bottom segment in order to be able to leave. No, you come with me. Wait, no, I actually want her to come all the way. That was actually very silly. Hey, Urdasu. Thank you for the good luck. So we're going to turn in all of these gas cans, and Tauros is going to tell us to go talk to the blacksmith, Valgor, who also might need some help. Valgor is going to tell us that... I actually should have left... I forgot to split again. Geez, my splits are going to be all messed up this time. Valgor is going to tell us that we have to go through the woods to a fortress where we can refine this Lorian metal stuff that Greek sword is made out of, and that is needed in order to make the airship work, or the weapons that I don't remember. I don't remember what he needs the Lorian for. That's the Lorian. Get it, DeLorean. Travel. It's time travel. Anyway, the reason that we couldn't go to the fortress before is because we didn't have the key. Unfortunately, as far as I can tell, it is not possible to skip into the fortress without the key. It doesn't matter anyway because you couldn't really do anything without the chunk of Lorian that he gives you. So there are two key items that you need, and they're both dispensed by the quest giver. So that lets us raise this gate a little bit, which lets one character swim through and move on. Hey, Tetra! Good to see you. This is a pretty game. I am enjoying this a lot. So now the crank can be held from the other side, which means that our other friend and neighbor can go through, and now we can take both siblings into the fortress. Yeah, so this is Greek Memories of Azur. It's my new speed game. I'm actually on a better pace than my splits suggest. I just split late on the last 2 splits by a lot. So this fortress has a bunch more sibling puzzles, and also wants you to sandwiches and dumplings are the two food groups. So this dungeon wants you to go to the right and then come back around to get to this portion. But it turns out that Adara can just barely make the jump up there by just floating upward. And I think this is maybe made easier by having VSync off. And just pop over here and grab one of the 2 gears that we need in order to make the thingamabob work. Oops. Okay, I really need her to eat stuff. Oop, hello. Whew. All right, we're okay now. Oh, wait. One other thing. It's actually faster for us to go up this way. All right. The other thing is that there's life points right here. So let's just go ahead and recover. She has a floaty jump, yes. She will double jump. Whoops. You get left here. I only need Adara for this. Whoop. Once again, we only really need our brother for the second part of the puzzle. The first part of the puzzle can be solved with just 1 sib. But the second part, unfortunately, is just a little bit too far for us to make by ourselves. So we need him to weight that down so that we can come over here and lower this crank and grab the gear. And then we can piece on out and go use these gears to get into the inner portion of the fortress. And yeah, we're just going to hop on out there at this point, drop straight down, and then pop these gears in. So now in this lower part, there's a lot of fire. So we're going to proceed a little bit slowly just because wow, that fire cycle was longer than I expected it to be. We're just going to proceed a little bit slowly because we don't want to get burned too much. Okay, so what we need to do is we need... Why didn't you double jump? Hey, Max. Good to see you. There we go. All right, we need to get Greek up here using the cages, but Adara, what you're supposed to do is send 1 character around to open a door, but once again, Adara's exciting floatiness just lets her kind of move on by, and we're just gonna bloop-de-bloop. I'm gonna take a quick safety save here because this next boss can be somewhat finicky, but again, it is substantially faster to stack ourselves up and deal damage that way. Oh, ouch. Oh, gosh. All right. Greek is in a bad way, so we're going to go ahead and pick him up that all right, so now he's going to get angry. And now he's going to do all of his things 3 times before he breaks. Oh, geez. Ah. 2 and 3. And that's the boss. All right. Whew. That was actually a little bit dicey. I'm glad that that succeeded. So now we put the Lorien in the pot. We pull the fire. And we get our refined Lorien, with which we can finally leave, except that our dear sister, who has some like magic-y powers, gets a vision of our brother Radel in some sort of snowy fortress. So now we get to go look for him in a snowy fortress. But first we have to return this to base. We're going to pick up this whetstone because the whetstones give you +1 damage to your swords temporarily. And both Radel and Greek have swords. And for Greek, that's like 50% extra damage. And for Radel, it's like 33 to 25%, depending on where he is in his combo, extra damage. Sometimes Greek does 3 points of damage instead of 2, but with the whetstone, he does 3 to 4 damage instead of 2 to 3 damage. So it's pretty big boost. And for the last couple of boss fights, it helps a lot. Here, let me you guys up again. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to make our way all the way back to camp. One little like annoying thing right here is just that there's a slightly raised platform here. So if you don't, you can just like run forever into that like little tiny raised edge. And that bugs me so much. It's just like a silly thing. Like, why is it raised that like half a tile? There's no tiles in this game, but you know what I mean. So that's just, I find that a little bit funny. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take our fast travel back to town. And go ahead and, what am I doing here? Right. I'm actually going to need to come back and pick you up anyway, so you can just stay here. We'll go ahead and run Greek over to the what's-his-face, because what's-his-face... Oh, and I should split. That wasn't gold, but that's fine. We're still on a pretty good pace. So now that we've turned that in, he's told us that we can find a snowy temple to the west across the very barren wastelands of Sork Ashen. But unfortunately, the bridge to Sork Ashen is out. It's completely gone. And so we'll need some way to cross over there. But let's go check out where the bridge used to be, because maybe we'll find something useful over there, question mark. And what we find when we get over here is this random dude, Yensi. And Yensi is like, if you go find my boy Farvin, he can help me build a bridge for you. And I know exactly how to find Farvin. There's 2 ways that you can do this. The way the game expects you to do this is to go down through the waterfall area that we're already in. And solve at least one sibling puzzle. But Farvin is actually very close to, I'm going to eat some mushrooms. Farvin is actually very close to where we came back to camp from the Viga marshes when we got all that gas and wait, where did my hit points go? Why didn't I get my hit points? There we go. That was unusual. So if we just go back through the storeroom, Farvin, yes, with some Farvin beans and a nice Chianti. Ow. So we're gonna run back down here, and bloop, bloop. And what's gonna happen basically is we're gonna find Farvin, and Farvin is going to take us back to Yensi's position where we left Adara. And so that means we'll have both siblings there. And because of this, we can get all the way to Farvin with only Greek, and Greek moves faster than Greek and Adara. And I don't know why Yensi thought that he needed Farvin, because it really looks to me like Yensi is doing all of the work cutting that tree down. What does a trans man dropping his hormone replacement and someone gossiping have in common? I don't know. And I feel like I'm going to regret this, but so skipping this bridge is actually like a big thing for me. You can almost get Adara across that gap. They're both spilling the tea. Oh my God. You can almost get Adara across that gap without the bridge. But I haven't actually been able to do it successfully yet. So being able to skip directly to Sork Ashen from the early parts of the game is still out of reach. But Sork Ashen itself, there's a lot of really interesting ice puzzles in here, and we're basically not going to do any of them. We're going to kill this. We're going to go ahead and... hey, please don't do that. We're going to eat some berries to free up some spots. And yeah. I did not want to do that. So there are these bonfires all over Sork Ashen. And they are used to melt these blocks of ice. And you're supposed to solve a whole bunch of puzzles involving how you get the fire from point A to point B. But it turns out that because grabbing the fire in midair resets Greek's double jump, you can basically just use the fire to fly. Like that. And that is why this trick is called Firefly. So we basically just fly this torch over here, set this bonfire, and that's it. So all of the all of the ice puzzles are in the lower section of this, and now we just run left to the end of this section. Hey, the retro runner! What is up, my friend? How are you doing? I hope that you are having a real good one. Mazia! And that is the entirety of Sork Ashen. And then, so welcome to our Kantos Temple. Thank you. I'm excited to be back at speedrunning. I have a game now that I feel very fond of running again, which is something I feel like I was lacking for a little bit. We are basically we're gonna leave Adara up here. While we go ahead and take Greek over this way. We are gonna... So Firefly actually is a little bit faster than the way that you would normally move with a torch too. So it serves as a good way to get around with a torch without slowing yourself down. But that basically saves us having to go around a long way in order to get to the top there. We do need Adara for exactly one part of the next ice puzzle. So Adara is going to pop Greek up here. We're going to pick up a torch and... Oh, hey, I didn't do that one right. There we go. So that bridge would normally melt under you, but of course we can just fly across it and then... and then we fly up there, which again, you're supposed to bring Adara over there to like pogo you up, but why bother when you can just Firefly? Oh, thank you. Yeah, Firefly is... there's only one other person running this, and as far as I know, they didn't, like, cover any, like, glitches or major skips. So I'm, like, actually, I'm tremendously proud of finding that one. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and let Greek eat. And we're going to go ahead and deposit Adara just over by the exit door to this area. Please, the bats in this area will freeze you solid. If they hit you, they'll put you in an ice block, and it sucks. Okay, so we're going to leave her there now. Oops, I didn't light the lower brazier. That's fine. We don't really need to light the lower brazier. It's just I often do. So we'll... Oh, wow, that bounced off of the raft. So in this case, I wish I had lighted, I wish I had lit the lower brazier. All right, so now we want to light the raft and bring it over here. Thank you, Retro Runner. I'm really glad that you liked the pixel art. I actually got a really nice comment from one of the animators and artists of the game. Oh my God, seriously? Wow. Let me do this thing. Why did you change facing? I did not. There we go. So basically we can skip raising up the platform there, which is really nice. It saves us a trip back. And we'll just tumble our way through here, and we're gonna... Oops. Greek, please. It is possible to get the torch all the way up to the top of the ladder thing without doing anything. Oop, jeez. Please come here. There we go. Making pixel art from scratch. So, I mean, I was just, like, I was staring at a reference. So it wasn't like I was doing it from nothing. But I really, it was a fun exercise. So we got our 2 emblems, so now we can move on to the next thing, which is this. So this garden here is you're supposed to go to the right, and there's all of these raft puzzles, and there's a whole garden thing, and we're not gonna do any of that. We're just going to carry a torch right over here. You're not supposed to be able to make that jump. We'll light that brazier and keep on moving. So we're just going to skip all of those puzzles. We don't really need any of them. They're not important. And over here, we will find this big thing, and we're going to put our hands on it. And it's going to expose the light crest, which is gonna... What is the light crest gonna do? It's gonna let us into some place later. It's a key, basically. At the same time as we're doing this, our brother swings on a rope and heroically enters a different part of our Kantos Temple. This is Radel. Radel has a hook shot. Radel's hook shot is kind of unreliable, unfortunately. Radel is also very strong, which is great. Radel has a shield, which is pretty cool. Radel cannot swim. If Radel falls into water, he will glug, 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 and then reset to his nearest safe ground that he was on. And he also takes damage. And Radel has one more hit point than his siblings, but it's often not enough when the drowning is involved. So you really just want to avoid Radel drowning as much as possible. But so at the end of this segment, Radel comes upon his siblings over by the light crest, being harassed by an Urlog, like, berserker thing. I don't really know. And it turns out that we can use our hookshot to make this fight really, like, nice and super consistent. And basically just stack up again with our sister. Pull this guy into a position where she can whack him with her beams, and yeah. Go over and check on our little brother. We pick up the light crest, and now all of our siblings are reunited. It's so good. The Sibs. All right. So now we all have to go help them with the airship. They're trying to get this primeval stone. It's called a crib. I don't know. It's CRIBE. I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced, honestly. And so we got to get back before the airship leaves, because all of the Korans, which are these like elf-like things, are leaving Azur, and we don't want to get left behind. So unfortunately, the little Sibs can't tag along on the hookshot rides. So Radel has to move separately from them when he is hookshotting, and that becomes important in later puzzles. Like, if it weren't for that, those puzzles would be even more trivial than they end up being. Yeah, this game is really fun casually as well. So that was definitely not my best Fort Firefly. It was actually pretty good though. I had a really bad one, in like, relatively speaking, in my PB compared to what I've done before. Okay. So basically what has happened here is that I completely forgot to buy the 2 whetstones that I wanted to buy. That's fine. It's not going to be that big of a deal. It's going to make one of the last 2 fights a little bit slower, and it's going to be the very last one. And it's not going to be that much slower, even. So we volunteered to go into the ruins after this expedition, and help them, like, make sure that they're okay and help them find this primeval crib. Oh, there's one other important thing about Radel that I forgot to mention, which is that Radel can't move and attack at the same time unless he's jumping. So if Radel attacks on the ground, he'll stop. He'll Stanley Slash. So here we are at the Varane ruins, and this dungeon is really intricate and really interesting to play through casually. And again, we're going to skip most of it. Like, we're just gonna straight up not do the vast majority of this dungeon. So we pop in over here. And head over to this area, and there are these little floating crystal things that Radel can grab onto, and then he can also, oh geez, I did the wrong thing. He can also, you can hit a bell to turn them into platforms. And then Radel also has, his shield can be used to, really? Why? Come on, hookshot. Thank you. To block the laser beams. And then, so that's a lot of the like premise of the puzzle, like the 3 sibling puzzles here, is that Radel can hookshot around and can also, okay, cool. Radel has full health. So we're going to position Radel there, which is where he is going to need to be to help his siblings. Just in the normal course of the dungeon, like that's where he would want him to be anyway. Greek can't swim nearly as well as Adara can, and so getting through here, like swimming through this with Greek is like possible, but not great. So we're gonna bring them through together like this, and then you can see that our sibling is waiting for us there to turn these into platforms so that we can jump up here. Now there's a bunch of other puzzles that we're supposed to solve, but we're basically almost done with this dungeon. Because Adara can just use her flight powers to get up here. And so we're going to take her. This is the exit door. We need to get all 3 of the sibs over there in order for us to be able to exit the dungeon. There's a whole like lower left part, and there's a bunch of lasers and like catapulty things and things like that. But Adara can get up there, and we still have the problem of Greek. We'll go ahead and take Radel up here. And as for Greek, well, there's this like really tempting thing right here, and it turns out that Greek can make that jump just fine. So we're done. That skip actually took me forever to figure out. The positioning on that in order for Greek to be able to make that jump is really precise. But once you are in position, it is basically free to make the jump. So this is where I'm going to use my whetstones. This is the Urlog Conqueror. This guy sucks a lot. This is easily the hardest boss in the game. Okay, so ooh, my bag is full. I'm going to just eat that. And then I'm going to use the whetstone, and we'll use the whetstone. So both of them are now going to have an extra unit of attack power for this fight. So you have to ring these bells to stun the boss. And then the bells can get knocked off. Oh, hello. All right, we're gonna get the heck out of here. And we're gonna have to wait for him to come around now. He's gonna come up here. What happens if you don't use the bells is that he grabs you and he'll stick you in a cocoon. It really sucks. It's very bad. Nobody likes it. And he can cocoon like 2 characters in fairly short order. And if he cocoons all 3 of you, it's game over. So that's not great. All right. We are still on a really good pace. That's a nice gold. Okay, so now we get to relax a little bit for a little while. There's like an auto scroller here. We get to ride these adorable little like armored guinea pigs. They look much more fierce in the like little interstitial loading screen than they are in practice. But so these are Boscos. And this is basically an auto scroller. Like you can dodge back and forth and you have to jump pits and stuff, but aside from holding right to make it go a little bit faster, there's nothing particular that you can do to make this any different than it is. The barriers are always in the same position. There's no RNG. You can just kind of memorize it and easy peasy. The jumps aren't particularly hard to make. It takes a little bit of getting used to, and then it's basically free. So now is a really good time to just like take a deep breath. Before the final dungeon. And there are no real skips in Aldolar Labyrinth. It's just solving puzzles quickly and knowing how to move the characters around efficiently. There are certain expectations that the dungeon has for who does what things that don't really like pan out to be true. And so you can use that to move characters around more efficiently than they otherwise would be. And basically we're going to be solving the labyrinth pretty much entirely with Greek and Radel. Is how this is going to end up working. Because Adara's powers are only really needed for swimming. There's no place that floating is required in order to get through the dungeon. So come on, everyone together. So we're just gonna do that actually. We use the light seal that we got before to get through here. That is the first time that I've ever avoided stagger on that jump. We have all of the siblings have to put their hand on the thing, quote unquote puzzle. It doesn't matter which sibling goes where, really. They get separated, teleported to different places, and the place that they start is deterministic. And so basically the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take Adara and send her this way. And the only thing that we're really going to do with her is send her over to the exit door to wait for the end of the dungeon. Meanwhile, Radel and Greek will be running around doing a nonsense. So Greek has the most mobility in this dungeon out of any of the 3 siblings. There are a lot of crawl tunnels for Greek in this. And the big way that everybody else gets around is through these teleport, like red teleport hand stones. That, one sibling touches one side, the other touches the other side, and then they swap places. So we're going to go ahead and do that over here We're gonna swap these. So really, that's supposed to be Adara swapping in there. It's not really necessary, and Greek moves faster than Adara does, and Greek has to get over here anyway. So it's actually faster to do this with Greek than it is to do it with Adara. We're gonna pop out to catch a little bit of breath. Remember, Greek doesn't hold his breath that well, but because Greek moves so much faster and we need to get him over here anyway, it's actually more efficient to move him around over there because he ends up in a place that he needs to be regardless. So now we need Greek and Radel over here. I did this in the wrong direction again, because there is I need you to do that. And then you have to come up here and... Nope, come on. Hook shot. Please, thank you. Right, so Radel can get over here very easily, which enables him to get Greek over here. And then Greek can go ahead. You have to hit 3 runes in here. I guess this is fine. Like, the way that I'm doing this is fine. So we'll end up actually using Adara for a puzzle after all. You don't really need her. It's totally fine. It actually doesn't lose any time to use her for this. But usually I do everything with Greek anyway, just because he moves faster than she does. But instead, what we're going to do is we're going to take Adara down here. Sorry, that's not exactly the right way. We have to go down this way. Yes, there we go. Okay. And so over here, there's a laser beam. And so we're going to stick him here. She's going to dive down here and hit this switch. And then come get this raft. And the raft basically just needs to be in a position where Radel can land on it. And then she can pull over here and he can shield her and she can bop that. So it's very important when solving this puzzle that Radel not hit there's like an upper area of ground up there. It's important that he doesn't do that because we're just going to tank him into the water over here and he's going to respawn over where, oh, oops, you don't actually need to be there. Where he needs to be to get Adara out of the water. So now we're basically just gonna leave together, and he can put his shield down. Oops, please, Adara, why are you unstacking? And then we need to run both of them back up here. Radel needs to be there. Adara can go back and stand by the door. And so now we need to bring Greek over again, basically to do teleporty things again. Boom. And now Greek is actually going to have to run around again because Greek is going to have to do teleporty things again. Because since he's the only one who can climb through these tunnels, it's really on him to make it to some of these places. Woo. So that he can get his sibs on through. Now, before we do that, we are actually going to pop him through this little water section. And so he's going to grab one air bubble and then get the heck out of the water. We'll go ahead and use that small elixir. That's fine. And now we're going to go ahead and teleport Radel all the way over here. Radel, where are you? Okay, never mind. I got a little bit confused about where the next teleport thing was. It is this way. No big deal. Oh. Wow, Radel was already on the other side of this. Okay, that's fine. Okay. And now, oh, no, Greek actually does need to stay here because Radel will need him to teleport him back again and again and again. So. No! Glug, 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 glug. This is like the most frustrating thing about this game is just how unreliable that that hook shot can be. It just it bugs me. It bugs me. Oh, and then Radel needs to get over to the other side here. And do this, and then Greek needs to come around and get teleported again. Unfortunately, there's no faster way to do this section as far as I can tell. Like, there's no, like, Adara can't go through any way that is faster than what Greek can do. And in fact, can't actually get through there at all, as far as I'm aware. And like, being in this section, oh, really? Where was my double jump there? I'm crabby about that. I think that was very unkind. There's my double jump there. All right. But now we're basically ready to exit out into the final boss encounter. So we're just going to get everybody to the door. And here we go. I'm going to go ahead and save my game, even though if I lose this fight, I lose the run. So it's actually a little silly. That's like a pointless time loss. But we take this primeval crib stone, very important magic rock, and that frees the plague. And so there's this plague abomination thing here. We basically have to hack at it a lot. If I had whetstones, I would use it for this fight. I don't have any extra whetstones. There's lots of webbing here. Okay, it did decide to. So we're basically just going to tuck into the corner here and face everybody in. It's going to spawn some things, and then it's going to slam the ground, and then it's going to disappear, and nobody cares. And it's going to pop up here. We're going to position ourselves so that all of our characters can attack it. We really want to stack tighter than that, though. It's going to appear on the other side, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Oh, geez. I did not kill it there. Please die, please die, please die, please die. Yes! Okay, all right, we got it. All right, and now it's an escape sequence, basically. These crushers can do damage to you, so they can, in fact, kill you. We have to get everybody out of here. I actually did try doing this escape sequence with just Greek because he's faster than everybody else to see if it would let me like finish the game if just Greek made it. The answer is no. You cannot escape with only one sibling. The game will not let you. There's actually no time limit on this escape. It's just for like visual effect. There's this lever here that wouldn't have worked before, but does work now. That, like, if people hadn't recovered health, could theoretically have killed me. So this is going to be a PB, but it is not going to be the 104 that I'm looking for. And that's time. I did lose a little bit of time on that segment. That was actually a slightly messy labyrinth. But hey, a 105.21. That is Greek Memories of Azur. Hey, thank you for the GGs, Juan Bautista. Thank you for the GGs, Rujasu55, Castle of Warriors, Tetrally. Thank you for the nice